You would always want to know who your goalkeeper is. In other words, you'd want that decision to be made at club and international level. Is there any chance that Nick Pope can usurp Jordan Pickford ahead of the Euros, or do you think Pope is number 2 and Pickford will play if he's fit?
I think Pickford will play if he's fit. Again, I don't think Gareth knows who his number 1 is, but has Pickford done enough to be taken out of the team? Some might say yes. But
it's a massive decision, isn't it, to change your goalkeeper?
But you're going into a tournament, I feel, you know, the goalie needs to be experienced. I feel, you know, he needs to have been in that environment before, so that's why I think he'll stick with Pickford.
I think that he knows he'll go with Pickford as his number 1 because, like I mentioned, we're talking about a manager that's picked a player that's form has been so poor in certain periods and continued with him. So you'd have to say that Pope, getting these games, hopefully he can do enough to impress him, but you like to think that in Gareth's head, he's probably going to go with
And maybe, actually, when you talk about tournament experience, when you're talking about a goalkeeper, that really is significant, is it? Maybe outfield players, you could say, is it a bit harsh to pick A, who's not been informed because B's playing well? But when it comes to a goalkeeper, you know,
yeah, but you talk
level, is that different?
We used the word there about trust, you know, trusting certain players in big games. But Gareth, well, I wouldn't trust Pickford to go and try and win a big tournament. His form at club level doesn't suggest that. He's got a mistake in him.
But would you then trust somebody who's got very little experience at international level to replace him?
Well, if that's the way... Well, sometimes that's forced on you because of the Pickford injury. Sometimes it's forced on Pope. And the big plus for Pope, I think, is obviously a very good goalkeeper. I think he's got a great temperament about him. I look at Pickford sometimes, his head looks all over the place. I go back to a few years ago when Joe Hart was in goal. He seemed to be too lively, too giddy in the tunnel. Whereas I look at Pope and think, nice temperament about him. And I think if he does get a chance to play regular games for England, he won't let them down.
He's good number 2, Nick Pope. Do you like the look of him?
Yeah, but, you know, going back to that, when you talk about, you know, playing that experience, I would just be a little bit scared if Pope did play and made a major mistake, like a situation that Rob Green made. You know, I wouldn't want to see his confidence killed and shot to pieces like that, because I think, he, you know, as Roy said, he's got the qualities, he seems like he's got that calmness.
But I think he's got that temperament. He makes mistakes at club level, like all keepers do. But he always recovers. But
the thing is, when you think like that, of course, you know that goalkeepers, they make mistakes, but when you're going into a tournament knowing that you've got a goalkeeper that is capable of doing that, you're always going to be worried. You know what I mean? What you want to see from someone like Pope is the kind of stability and confidence that you think, I feel confident about him. Yeah. And that is what he needs to be able to really enforce on Gareth.
Is Trent Alexander-Arnold out of the picture, do you think, for the summer?
I think on form and you know, with the fullbacks on show, I would probably say yes. I think you've got, of course, Trippier, Kyle Walker and the emergence of Reece James. So I think Trent is going to find it difficult to get into this squad. Sad, but it's you know, it's one of them things you have that dip in form at the wrong time. Reece James is starting to play well. You know, Trippier is adaptable. You can play him higher up in a wing-back position or whatever. Now, I think Trent is going to find it